You don't need to convince others of what you know is right for yourself. There may be times where you're telling other people what your plans are, the goals that you're working towards, and those people may tell you that that is not ideal for you or that it's the wrong path to take or they know something that would be better, and so on and so forth. Basically, you'll get people telling you that they know better than you do, and they'll try to convince you to do something different. And here's the thing, if you really know that the path that you're on is right for yourself, you should not listen to what other people say. I know this sounds a bit crazy because there will be times where maybe these people even know more about you on a specific thing, so their advice should be worth listening to, and it still can be. But if you know that it's the right path for you, I'm just not really convinced that we should let other people steer us away from that. I mean, there are going to be times where only you know what's truly best for yourself because you're the only person who thinks the way you do and who views the world the way that you do. You know yourself really well, or hopefully you should, and if you don't, make sure you spend time doing that, meditating on it, and getting to know who you are as a person, because the better you know yourself, you're going to know what is right for you. And other people, they won't really know that, even if they know you really well. I mean, hopefully, as someone gets to know you really well, they should be able to figure this out a bit better. But there will be times where people just can't quite understand what you know will make you happy because they're not you. They don't view the world the way you do and they don't think the way you do. So this is why I would urge you to be very careful in letting other people steer you away from what you want, because they don't truly know what would be good for you. They may have an idea of that, but at the end of the day, you are probably the only person who will truly know that. I do need to throw some caveats in here though, of course. Like, as I already said, you should know yourself really well before doing this, because if you don't know yourself well, then yeah, there could be people who know you better than you know yourself, and they could actually offer sound advice in those cases. And there could also be some times where your emotions are clouding your judgment and you want something that may not actually be right for you, and you're convincing yourself that it's right for you, meaning if you're not listening to your intuition, you could also steer yourself in the wrong direction as well. Good example of that would be like relationships. You going after someone who is not the right fit for you, and meanwhile lying to yourself that they are the right fit for you. And in that case, you might have friends or family members who try to tell you, hey, this is the wrong move to make, and you won't listen to them. So I'm not advocating for like never listening to other people. There are certainly times where that is valid. I more so mean the more you work on yourself, the more you get to know yourself, the more you're better at trusting your intuition. That is when you should be very skeptical of letting other people steer you away from what you're working towards. Because the more work you've done on yourself, you should get to a place where you know what will make you happier, where you know what will enhance your quality of life. And other people probably won't really know that, as I already mentioned. So this is basically what I'm driving at in this video. I do believe that at the end of the day, our intuition will trump whatever other advice other people will try to give us, unless they've already gone down the exact path that we wish to go down. And I mean like almost exact, not entirely, but close to it, right? Because even with an example of like me wanting to start my own business, I've had people try to give me advice for that, and they started completely different businesses and completely different things. Like, I want to start an online business where it's basically a brand business. I'm the brand. I want to do life coaching and give advice to other people, that sort of thing, and eventually find a bunch of ways of monetizing it with life coaching, books, and maybe even apparel and a bunch of other things at some point. That's very different from, say, someone who started a coffee shop, right? And I could get instances where someone who started that coffee shop will try to give me advice or tell me I'm doing the wrong thing for my brand business, and that's not really helpful, right? Because they're not the same thing. Sure, they're both businesses that you start, but they're very different. So this is more what I mean. You can get instances where people try to steer you away from what you want, and they can't quite really say that because they haven't gone down that path that you want to go down. So who are they to truly know whether or not it'll fail or not? Only you can find that out. And I've already basically told the people I care about in my life that I'm going to pursue this brand business, and even if I fail doing it, hey, at least I'll have an answer there, right? That's much better than working for other people the rest of my life and looking back and thinking, what if? What if I had actually had the balls to go off on my own and do what I wanted to do, start my own business as opposed to working for other people my whole life? I don't want to do that. I don't want to make that mistake and work for others and end up unhappy and then have regret looking back. I'd rather go out there, fail hard, and maybe even need, like, I don't know, other people to pull me out of the hole I dig myself in than to not do what I want to do. That's just the kind of person I am. And I would urge all of you to do the same thing in your own life. Pave your own path. Figure out what works for you. Don't let other people steer you away from what you want, because they probably won't really know whether it will actually make you happy. They probably don't know you well enough to even make that judgment. So it's on you at the end of the day. But like I said, you really need to work on getting to know yourself really well before you can do this accurately. And especially work on not lying to yourself. Like, we almost always know when we're lying to ourselves, so don't ignore that. If you know that you're lying to yourself about something you want or that you think you want, listen to that. Don't gaslight yourself and don't push through that voice that's telling you, hey, this is probably a dumb move. Don't do that, all right? Be as good to yourself as you would to a friend. You wouldn't let them go down a path that's bad for them. So don't do that to yourself. Don't get into relationships with people you know are bad for you. Don't tell yourself that making a bad decision is the right move for you. Don't try to rationalize it. This isn't something you should ever really have to rationalize. It's more like a feeling, a strong knowing. That's the way it is for me with starting this brand business. It's almost like I know it's something I must do. I can't even really put it into words, but that's why I know I need to pursue it. And I have had people in my life who do care about me try to steer me away from it. And it always kind of boggles my mind a bit, because I'm like, you guys care about me. Why are you trying to divert me away from something that I believe will make me happy? Like, I don't get it. You should want me to be happy in the end, but oh well, that's a topic for another conversation. But just don't let other people steer you away from the things that you know are right for you. Trust your intuition. It usually won't steer you in the wrong direction. And just remember, life is way too short to spend it constantly letting other people make decisions for you on what you should do. Make your own decisions. Fail for yourself. If something doesn't work, figure out what will work. But just don't live your life according to other people. Don't let them dictate your future. Go out there, create your own experience, and hopefully it'll become a beautiful one over time. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Arrivederci!